Hello everyone, welcome to our presentation on Wall Street Bets beyond GameStop, YOLOs and the moon, the unique traits of Reddit's finance communities. My name is Pratik Agrawal and I am currently a master's student at University of Potsdam, Germany. This work was a joint collaboration between me and the co-authors Tolga Buzz and Professor Gerard Di Mello. Both of them are associated with Hasso-Plattner Institute in Germany. Let me start with the motivation behind this work. In January 2021, um, stock market was rocked by this GameStop hype event, which was triggered by the users of the Wall Street Bets subreddit. In this event, the price of GME went almost 16% high in just 1 month, and hedge fund who had shorted the GME stock lost a lot of money. Uh, this event had a particular impact on the Reddit sub-communities, particularly finance sub-communities. So in this plot, you can see when this event happened, a lot of users discovered the world of Reddit finance and they kind of joined in the large numbers, not only Wall Street Bets, but other communities such as investing and stocks. Looking at these numbers, we realize that there is a huge opportunity to look into the massive amount of data which is being generated through these Reddit communities. Uh, Social media's data has been used previously also for finance decision making. Um, as and when the algorithmic trading is becoming complex and powerful, the data from platforms like Twitter and Facebook is increasingly being used and integrated into uh, these platforms. But what we have seen uniquely in the past 2 years is a growth of retail investing. That is, these people are not professional investors; they are individuals. They are not professionally trained to invest, but they are relying on the finance-related communities such as Wall Street Bets, stocks, investing, etc. And the rise in this particular growth, we kind of believe that there are certain factors at play. So some uh, COVID-19 would be one of the factors. Then young people are more interested now into they are looking at different investment opportunities, and there are also ample of opportunity of using low cost trading apps such as Robinhood, etc. And when we talk about the growth of retail trading apps, the numbers say the same. Like if we just take the example of Robinhood, the users have increased to nearly 23 million in 2021 from just 13 million in 2020. We wanted to answer these questions with our research when we started this work. So firstly, what are the characteristics and differences between these communities in terms of their content, topic, and language? Then second question was how do the returns of the top stocks which are mentioned on these subreddits, how do they compare? And what are the most popular themes in each of these Reddit communities, and do they have a different focus? Lastly, the users which were active across all of these three communities, do they provide valuable insights to confirm or contradict our findings? So now, before I talk about related work, I would like to give more context on what we were thinking when we started this work. So we thought it would be interesting to somehow correlate the growth of these apps, user-based apps, and growth in the Reddit sub-communities, and see if in some way we can utilize this information for deriving some insights in the stock market dynamics. When we looked at the literature for stock forecasting and social media, we already know that like Facebook and Twitter are heavily used as a data sources for stock forecasting when social media is concerned. But we particularly focused in our literature survey studies which were only concerning to the Reddit as a data source, and we came across two kind of studies. Uh, one would be the qualitative studies, which were mostly based in computational social science, and other kind of studies were quantitative. But we found that they were morely addressing this one particular event. This was GameStop, and mostly the other communities such as stocks and investing, they were not taken into account while conducting even this quantitative analysis. Here's a small example of what Reddit submission is. So we collected a lot of nearly 1 million submissions like this from 3 different subreddits. So um, at the very basic level, a Reddit submission has a title, then flag, then it has a submission body. We utilize PushShift API to collect the Reddit submissions, and we collected over more than 1 million submissions across all 3 subreddits. And uh, we also separated the data for just the common users. So more than 5,500 users were common across all 3 subreddits. Initially, when we started with this data, we were only exploring the data, and the nature of this study was more or less, you can say, it was a exploratory data analysis. So we didn't have any predefined hypothesis. Initially, we just wanted to do a temporal analysis of linguistic features such as verbs, nouns, adjectives, etc. Then later we also did topic modeling, and after extracting the stock tickers from all 3 communities, we looked at the price and profit and loss comparison for all of these stocks. And in the later part, when we had some hypothesis based on our exploratory data analysis, we decided to train a machine learning submission classifier to see how our hypotheses are faring when it comes to machine learning models discriminative features. This slide has a brief summary of overall results. I would be explaining them into upcoming slides into more detail. But to just summarize some of the results, we found that the language usage across the community is different. Even the topics being discussed are different. There is a different risk affinity involved with the WallStreetBets and other 2 communities. Uh, there is a meme stocks are mostly prevalent on WallStreetBets, not so much on other subreddits. And from the user behavior perspective, we found that users who have posted on all 3 subreddits, they kind of they kind of employed different type of language when they posted in different communities. So first important result we found was the excessive usage of emojis in WallStreetBets, as well as the WallStreetBets specific language and words lingo. For example, you will find these words like ape, then moon, YOLO, etc. exclusively in WallStreetBets because they are part of their lingua franca and they are being utilized there. But it is not the case in other 2 communities. Uh, in investing, we find the language relatively conservative compared to WallStreetBets and stock users. It also says a lot about the conservative nature of the users uh, who are posting there. When it comes to topic modeling, we found that uh, the topics which were being discussed on WallStreetBets, they kind of point to high risk investments like option tradings and meme stocks, etc. while in our stocks we found that users were mostly involved in a broader discussion topics such as quarterly reports, technical analysis, portfolio analysis, etc. And in our investing, we found the topics were being discussed were neither part of WallStreetBets or nor our stocks. So, for example, topics such as retirement, investment book advice, then ETF, etc. We also extracted top tickers being discussed on each of these three communities. And as you can see in the plot, the meme stocks like GME, AMC dominated the Wall Street bets, while conservative stocks, technology stocks like Microsoft, Apple, AMD, they were more prevalent in other two communities such as our stocks and our investing. When we look at the ticker occurrence per thousand posts, there is an interesting result here as well. So the number of times this technology stocks are being discussed vis-a-vis Wall Street bets, it's almost 2x. So for example, Apple is being discussed on our stocks almost twice when we compare it to Wall Street bets. So it kind of says the nature of preference of stocks of users for our stocks compared to Wall Street bets and even investing. This table has details about the profit and the loss comparison over different time periods for the top stocks of Wall Street bets and stocks and investing. So few of the conclusion we derive from this data is we can see that Wall Street bets has a tendency to favor riskier growth stocks. Those stocks might perform well in bullish markets, but mostly they perform poorly in the bearish markets. The more conservative communities such as our stocks or our investing, they favor relatively conservative technology stocks such as Apple, Microsoft. In conclusion to this table, this slide, I would say that none of these communities are to be taken as a single source of information because uh, we believe that they have a different focus and uh, they don't represent the broader view of the entire stock market. To the last part of the analysis, as I said earlier, we trained a machine learning classifier and extracted the discriminative features for each subreddit, and we found that our exploratory data analysis for the top words and characteristic words was matched by the machine learning classifier. So the characteristics like inflammatory language for Wall Street bets, then usage of emoji, we can see in the important features of Wall Street bets here that they are present here. And similarly for other two subreddits, it's also confirmed our hypothesis of these communities being relatively conservative in terms of topics and everything. So in the plot, you can see for investing, you will find top words such as ETFs, loans, and retirement, etc. Now to summarize some of the key points from this research, for each community, I would say Wall Street bets, as we have already seen, they are discussing the non-traditional high risk investment assets, and the language is quite strong and they also show strong sense of togetherness, while the other two communities are stocks, we see that they are following more conventional strategies and they are evaluating stock performances using technical and fundamental analysis, while our investing is largely low risk long term investment focused. In the end, to conclude this presentation, I would say our insights about the characteristics and unique traits of this Reddit finance communities can help researchers and investors assess the potential of these communities and even make informed decisions about the investments. Um, I would like to point out that none of these communities should be used as a single source of information due to their different thematic focus. Thank you for your attention.